And welcome to our live coverage of the Frontier Days Parade 2018. It's Ryan Schweitzer from Snowstreaker Media, along with Lindsay Gerbrand, here to give you parade commentary. For the next little while, we can hear sirens coming from down the street. We're broadcasting from the roof of W.W. Smith, and Central Avenue North is alive, Lindsay.
Absolutely. There's been people gathered here for hours already. Of course, Market Square is ongoing as well, but people have been staking out their spots along the route, since 8 o'clock this morning.
We thank Living Sky Casino for sponsoring this webcast and W.W. Smith for giving us this prime location to talk to you from this morning. We're starting to see the EMS vehicles make their way down Central Avenue North, and that's always a sign that things are about to get rolling and business is about to pick up. We're going to have the Swift Current Municipal RCMP coming through, and Lindsay, after that, the Frontier Days Cadillac, which always has someone special in it.
Absolutely. And this year, the honorary parade marshal is Betty McDougall. She's a longtime volunteer in this community, and she has done so much. So as the Frontier Days is celebrating 80 years, the theme this year is Hats Off to Community Spirit. So who better to be our parade marshal than Betty McDougall?
Yeah, lots of people around town. If you're not familiar with who Betty McDougall is, what's Betty been involved in? And the answer is pretty much everything. So we look forward to seeing her. She's going to get a good round of applause from the crew here when she makes her way down. The weather today is just perfect for a parade. We are just in that Goldilocks realm of just right. There's a gentle breeze blowing through. There's nary a mosquito to speak of. And really, you couldn't have ordered up a better day for Frontier Days. The parade that's happening this morning. And, of course, Lindsay, all the festivities that are happening out at the Aganex, too. Absolutely.
Gates will open at noon again today. Of course, the trade show ongoing. They've got light horse, heavy horse, livestock happening in the ag area. Obviously, the Midway Open, and today some great grandstand shows as well. Bobby Wills, the James Barker Band, will be performing in the grandstand, followed by the Chris Buck Band at the Fourth Barrel Cabaret.
All right, that's going to be a lot of fun at Frontier Days today. And here at Market Square, lots of people out enjoying the market, checking out the wares of local merchants. 11:30 this morning. I know that the Sundrops are going to be performing at 1 o'clock. Justine Sletton will be at Market Square as well. RCMP, they got the municipal truck here, and there's the RCMP mascot, as well as a couple volunteers that are going to help their crew out today. I really feel good for the mascots, and we're going to see a few of them throughout today. It's the perfect day for mascotting. Not going to get too hot under the collar for our furry friends.
Absolutely, and it is, it must be right around 20. It's sunny, though there is a few clouds going by, so it's just absolutely perfect. So it's so good to be able to bring everybody out and everyone's comfortable to enjoy the parade.
The parade begins at the Innovation Credit Union Iplex. It winds down Chaplin Street, and then it takes a right turn at Elmwood Park. It'll go past the Fit Park, go past Swift Current's Library, and then it will turn onto Central Avenue North, and that's where we are right now. You can see the Lyric Theater in the background, the RCMP truck there, the Parade Marshal Cadillac just beyond that tree, and we'll be seeing that shortly. The parade then goes up through Central Avenue North. It will take a left turn onto Cheadle Street, and then head over the overpass, go down 2nd Avenue Southeast a little bit, before taking a right turn near the Co-op and then winding down in front of the old Palliser Care Center building on the south side. So each year, and you talked about it, Lindsay, there's literally thousands of people along the parade route, and there's people that have been doing the Frontier Days Parade for decades who always stake out their favorite spot, sometimes even the night before.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to see a lot of people getting ready, and it's great to see, even as we look at the street that we see right now. There's definitely generations here. You see kids, parents, grandparents, everybody coming together to enjoy this thing that is so classically Swift Current as part of the Frontier Days activities.
Absolutely. It's certainly something that everybody looks forward to. It's always full along the parade routes. I know you and I, once upon a time, working as part of the Golden West radio display, they always had the candy to hand out, and you always made sure that every single child got some sort of piece of candy along the parade route. And, we're going to see a lot of that today, a lot of folks handing out candy. Christina, get a shot of Tracy mowing across the street there. He's waving to us here. I know he's got a lot of friends in Swift Current. A few years ago, he was voted Swift Current's favorite celebrity in a online poll. So let's get a shot of Trace. I know he's had some health issues a while back, but it's great to see him out and about here, and it's great to see things moving along. How about that Cadillac? I don't know if you know the answer exactly, but that Cadillac has certainly been a part of Frontier Days parade festivities for quite a while, eh?
Absolutely. I would 100% be guessing, but I'm thinking well over 30 years, actually, for that.
There's Betty McDougall, the parade marshal, inside the aforementioned Cadillac with the big boss hog style horns on it. Talk about Betty and all of her years of volunteering in Swift Current. She certainly made a few friends over the years. And in a newer style of vehicle, we have Swift Current Mayor Dennis Perreault, his son Luke, and it looks like he's got Leah driving this morning in a newer style car.
And absolutely, they are representing our Swift Current 57s with their 57s hats on today. And looks like they are making sure that all those kids get some candy.
Yeah, Dennis, he's got Luke throwing candy out there. The first lady of Swift Current, as we often call her, Leah, driving their vehicle. And there's Everett Hindley, newly elected MLA, the member of the Legislative Assembly, in the big red truck there. Everett, I'm going to guess that that's his wife, Anita, sitting across from him in that vehicle that looks to have been provided by Standard Motors. And as we keep the politicians rolling through, there's our Member of Parliament, David Anderson, who I believe has represented Cypress Hills grasslands for 100 years.
It sure seems that way, and it would appear as well that his vehicle is also sponsored by Standard Motors, so they are representing here in the parade as well.
Maybe extra security wouldn't have been a bad idea, as we have, David Anderson, Member of Parliament. We have the NDP right behind him as well, the Saskatchewan, or the Swift Current New Democrat Party, as they roll through. They're all decked out in orange, as one would expect. Stefan Rumpel in there, the NDP candidate from the Swift Current by-election in the last provincial election. They're going to be followed up by the Reeve of the RM of Swift Current, Bob Neufeld. And four-legged friends are always a big part of what we see on Frontier Days as well, Lindsay.
Yes, so our first horse of the parade, and it happens to be the Frontier Days ambassador, Adriana Simpson. She hails from just outside of Kyle and doing a great job representing everything that Frontier Days stands for.
Well, the city of Swift Current has brought out their big guns here as they have the Light and Power rig here. And it's a good celebratory float as well. They're celebrating the Western Canada Summer Games that are going to be here in 2019. Hockey Day in Canada, which is also going to be happening in February. Their Market Square. And, of course, paying tribute to the Humboldt Broncos, which is a nice touch as well. And some representation for our Swift Current 57s and the Western Hockey League champion, Swift Current Broncos. It's been a championship year in Swift Current 57s with back-to-back league championships in the WNBL. And the Swift Current Broncos also champions as well. Now, here is a staple of the Frontier Days Parade.
Yes, an absolute fan favorite. It's the Wawa Swift Current Shrine Club. Their band performing as they weave their way through the streets of Swift Current. And, of course, we've got one of the parade clowns following them as well.
Oh. People always love clowns, some people more than others. Yeah, they always have a couple clowns. Every year, the clowns' method of transportation always seems to get a little bit better, though. They got some nice ATVs there. They used to have those little motorbikes, but they seem to be riding a bit more in style now. You see one of the clowns in front of the Lyric Theatre. He's doing some shoe shining there. And we can hear the musical stylings of the Shrine Band. They always do a great job at the Canada Day festivities as well, which is going to be happening tomorrow at Memorial Park as well. They always do a great job performing O Canada and God Save the Queen. We can hear them in the background, and we're enjoying the antics of the clowns here. They're just having a great time ripping up Central Avenue North. They don't want to fall too far behind here, but at the same time, they want to take time and make friends and acknowledge everybody here who came out to watch them. No. Everybody in the Frontier Days Parade, too, they've been at it for a good 20 minutes as well. They started at the Innovation Credit Union iPlex. This is about halfway down the parade route, as we already see someone with a banner here.
Yeah, it looks like we've got our junior and 4-H first prize coming down Central Avenue as we speak. And it's Burnham Community 4-H Club.
Well, I'd give them the banner just on that truck alone, but it is pulling a pretty solid parade float as well. Kudos to Burnham. I I know Burnham is just a little bit southeast of Swift Current, and I believe this may be the entire community represented here. I say that in jest, but wow, what a great showing, and that is just a dynamite-looking Super Duty truck.
Yes, absolutely. And Burnham is very, very involved in Frontier Days. For those who may not have previously visited the ag area at Frontier Days, they run the ever-popular Burnham booth where you can get some delicious home-cooked food.
Innovation Credit Union with their Mac vehicle. And I imagine Innovation Fat Cat won't be too far behind. Fat Cat loves to partake in events like this. Always a fixture at Frontier Days. And you can see him at the rink during hockey season. And there's that fabulous Mobile Advice Center ATM. And I imagine we'll see that big rig out at Frontier Days as well.
Absolutely, and it's a great addition to Frontier Days. So just in case you need a little extra cash, Innovation Credit Union is there for you. Of course, all their volunteers as well, very active in the community. And now they're making their way through the parade route and making sure all those kids get some candy.
They are always all hands on deck, the good people at Innovation Credit Union, a large group of volunteers. Yes, making sure that the masses get candy. We'll see what awaits down that tree there as sometimes the parade route gets backed up a little bit. Oh, and it's their friends at Golden West Radio who are rolling through here. You and I, Golden West Radio alums. It looks like they're driving through. Instead of having the people walking separate, they're zigzagging their way around and throwing candy out the window, which works as well. So good representation there from Swift Current Online, CKSW 570, Magic 97, the Eagle 94.1, and of course, Swift Current Live. Following them, we see a Robertson Motorsports truck. And this may be, well, it looks like some sort of arc that they're pulling here.
Yes, the Trailview Alliance Church coming through. They've got a great float set up. Obviously replicating Noah's Ark by the looks of it, and advertising their upcoming VBS in August.
We got Noah's Ark here. We got some rain last night, but not so much to require the services of that Ark, but it's very, very cool to see nonetheless as we see some folks making their way up the street here. It's been a lot of walking for these people already, and as we mentioned, they're about halfway done the parade route for Frontier Days 2018 on just a gorgeous day. The sun peeking out from behind some clouds right now and beaming down on people. Looks like a few stragglers there from Golden West Radio, just making sure that everyone gets some candy or perhaps some transferable tattoos. Here come our good friends at Volth's Brand Source, Mark Volth and the crew there. They got their big delivery van. I've heard, lots of people like to throw out candy. Volth's Brand Source, they thought about throwing out 55-inch flat-screen TVs this year, but then decided that wasn't in the budget, but good to see them nonetheless.
Yes, it's such an important part of Frontier Days to see all of the great local businesses in our community joining in and sharing this morning with everyone from Swift Current and surrounding area.
Yeah, Volth's, they've been in business in Swift Current for a real long time. Of course, they have a good sound system pumping out the back there. They would be the ones that would have that, so we certainly are happy to see them partaking in the parade this year. I know down the road, just in front of the Lyric Theater, I know Great Plains College has a display, and yep, here they come. Great Plains College truck. Lots of people in Swift Current choosing to get their first year here, and we see head honcho at Great Plains, David Keast there, sitting on the back of the truck there, acknowledging the masses, and a few more clowns on the unicycles. Riding a unicycle over the 2nd Avenue overpass might add a degree of difficulty.
I would imagine so. For some of us, just having a regular bicycle over the overpass is a challenge. So I expect that that might be a little difficult.
Maybe it's easier. Who knows? Maybe the only one wheel makes it simpler. Cypress Motors making their way through here. They got a nice red Mustang as well as their Ford truck. And it looks like a nice Ford unit, 0 down OAC and only $88 per week plus tax. So nice to see Jeff Parsons and the family Ford dealer in Swift Current, Cypress Motors, a part of Frontier Days Parade, another member of the business community here. They got the new CMX Power Sports out at that location as well. So we certainly welcome them to downtown Swift Current and thank them for joining the Frontier Days Parade. So far, so good. Everything that makes the Frontier Days Parade spectacular. And there's the new CMX Motorsports with a nice-looking boat there, Lindsay.
Absolutely, and I had the opportunity to go and spend some time out there on their grand opening. An absolutely amazing business. I was speaking with some of their different reps, and actually they were referring to it as a flagship store for Western Canada. So great to have that here in Swift Current.
Yeah, they're really going all out between Cypress Motors and the new CMX Motorsports. Like, this is like 2 full blocks of display here. Seeing some really nice looking side-by-sides here as well. Good job by them putting their best foot forward.
Very, very cute. They've got a side-by-side with a little mini ATV in the back, just in case.
Fun for the whole family, and everyone says that, but few walk the walk in that. But yeah, they certainly got something for everybody there. A little side-by-side for the little ones. Got the Kawasaki jet ski. As that sun comes out, that jet ski certainly looks like a more tempting idea. Head out to one of the lakes nearby. And there's Jeff Parsons on a Kawasaki bike there, just in front of us here at W.W. Smith. We thank W.W. Smith for allowing us this prime location to watch the parade from. Chad Peranto was a big help in helping us get set up here. And, of course, a big thank you to Living Sky Casino for sponsoring this year's parade webcast. Having lots of fun doing so right now, and we certainly thank Living Sky Casino for helping out. I know lots of people watching this webcast, people from Swift Current who couldn't make it back to Frontier Days. If and when you have your next visit to Swift, do drop by Living Sky Casino, a 5-star facility celebrating almost 10 years in business in Swift Current as well, as we see folks from S3 Enterprises, Lindsay.
Yes, you can see that they are very family-oriented, a huge group of all ages riding on their float and making sure those kids get some candy too.
Lots of kids on there as well, folks at S3 Enterprises. And Sputtergotch, oh, look at this. They managed to get the moose out of the store and onto the back of a truck.
That's right. Fan favorite. They're life-size stuffed moose, and they're making their way down. But to really add some Frontier Days flair, they've also got some other farm animals. They've got a pig, a cow, a goat, and even a sheepdog.
The animal kingdom well represented. Now, Swift Current's oldest school, we're seeing them, the good folks at Central School, making their way down the street right now, all dressed in purple. Central School, I believe they are the Cougars, Cougar Pride at Central, and Celia Hammerton, music instructor there, has everyone singing.
Yep, their choir is performing as they make their way through the parade route. All dressed in purple and looking wonderful. Brings back lots of great memories. That was my elementary school.
Oh, Central School alum up here. Well, and speaking of Living Sky Casino, we certainly thank them for making this webcast possible today. And here they come. It looks like some sort of a cake-themed celebration, as is appropriate, as they are celebrating a big milestone.
That's right. This year, Living Sky Casino marks their 10th anniversary, 10 years since they began here in Swift Current. So as such, they've got the anniversary cake out and ready, and they've got a good crew, including their mascot, Chip.
Chip, I'm a big fan favorite of his. Living Sky Casino, they got Rib Fest. We'll talk more about that next time we have a lull in the parade action as well. Swift Current Soapbox Racing Association. No engines, just gravity. Always a great time, and we got someone in their soapbox there, which is nice to see.
Yeah, another great family-oriented float. Of course, lots of youngsters enjoying soapbox racing through their youth.
Lyric Theater represented as well, as we see them just with, they just drove by moments ago. They had all the hats set up there promoting their summer Chautauqua. And Low Cost Towing. They've helped many out of a bind in many different ways over the years. Nice to see them here as well. Low Cost Towing. It looks like they're on the job here as they found someone's yellow Camaro and pick it up along the way and then head through the parade. Good to see the folks at Low Cost Towing putting their best foot forward and their vehicles on display. Mennonite Heritage Village, a big part of Frontier Days. We see them making their way down, promoting their sausage on a bun.
That's right. So right now you can stop by and see them as Frontier Days continues. They've got the barbecue sausage on a bun, salad, and dessert, 4 to 6 p.m. Tonight. actually. And coming up, they are already promoting their annual Watermelon Festival. That happens on July 22nd. Nothing better than watermelon and roll kuchen at the Mennonite Village.
Roll kuchen. I know most of the people watching this are, what is roll kuchen? How would you describe that to the uninitiated?
I think the easiest way is it's ultimately a cookie.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Watermelon and cookies, that's dynamite on a hot day. Nothing better than some savory watermelon as we await the next group here at Frontier Days making their way down here. While we have this opportunity, this lull in the action, when we saw Living Sky Casino come by, our sponsor for this morning's webcast, their Rib Fest, we saw them promoting that. What's that all about, Lindsay?
So there will be an announcement forthcoming. So listen close and pay attention on July 6th. But I can give you a little teaser that there are going to be some championship ribbers. These people make authentic Southern-style barbecue, and they'll be selling ribs, barbecue chicken, pulled pork, and other delights like that. And they're going to be coming to Living Sky Casino this August.
So some of the best ribbers out there going to be visiting Living Sky Casino. Can't wait to partake in that as we see the Group 2 Scouts making their way down the street. There's Tyler Walleen, part of the group there, and a bunch of youngsters. Scouts, great experience. My son was a member of the Scouts, teaching great life skills, promoting the Beavers as well, ages 5 to 7. And the 40 Winks Sleep Shop. I know that mattress right now would look pretty tempting for some Frontier Days partygoers.
Absolutely. And being someone who has walked this parade route many a times before, that person really has it made.
Yeah, that's the way to get it done. A nice comfy bed through the parade route. They got it figured out. Mankota 4-H Beef Club. Nice to see some folks coming all the way from Mankota to partake in the Swift Current Frontier Days. That's like more than an hour drive at least to get from here to Mankota.
Yeah, definitely getting down there closer to the border.
Canada West Harvest Center represented here with their forage harvester. That's always a fun part about Frontier Days as well, is the big machinery that you see here, and this certainly won't be the last of the big vehicles that certainly widen the eyes of children that we'll see today.
Yes, definitely the kids who maybe don't get the chance to spend a lot of time out on the farm, so to speak, will certainly enjoy and be awed by all of the farm machinery that's going to make its way through the streets.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things about Frontier Days, the big machines that you see here. We got some yellow machines here, the locals at Service Master making their way through here. Laverne and Larry and crew represented. Of course, they support a lot in Swift Current, and they're celebrating that with their display here. West Bank Bible Camp. I know that that's been a big part of Southwest Saskatchewan, and a lot of youth in the area have enjoyed their camp and their programs over the years. They got a lot of fun at West Bank. They got the zip lining. Great scenery out there. Looks like paintballing is a thing, too, as a couple kids are making their way through with some non-loaded guns. And they got the nice truck pulling their parade display as well with some horses. So West Bank, great showing from them today, Lindsay.
Yeah, it looks like they really do have a little bit of everything. It's nice to see them bring in the equine flavor with a few horses as part of their display, in addition to the folks that they have walking the parade and those they have riding their float.
We're going to have some vintage cars rolling through here now, looking at some of the ones that are here. Got some vintage cars here. We're going to see some from Watney Trucking, Don Fauser, Jordan Funk, Frank Funk, Jesse Lee Locker represented here. Len Melstrom is going to have his 51 Plymouth Cranbrook.
And it looks like we've got some award winners too. Best Antique Entry driving by as we speak, followed by the runner-up. And for some folks, these will be a trip down memory lane. For others, it'll be a bit of an eye-opener.
Absolutely. Yeah, they certainly don't make them like that anymore. 1964 Imperial. There's Jordan Funk's ride in there. Getting a plug-in for Mom Teresa at yours truly as well. Yep. Nice Thunderbird in front of us here. Yeah, and this is a great part of Frontier Days right now, because you talk about how many years this has been a tradition in Swift Current, and generations watching this, and there's a certain generation, this part of the parade will probably end up being their favorite.
Yep, you betcha. And again, if you haven't already heard, this is the 80th annual Frontier Days. For 80 years, the community and the Southwest has been coming together to celebrate all that we are.
And they certainly didn't have cement trucks like that 80 years ago. This is from Duracon Concrete Group, based in Swift Current here. Whole lot of concrete in there. And they've got everything all shined up nicely, too. You know, one of the great challenges is keeping a vehicle clean in Swift Current, especially after last night and the rain that we had. There was certainly some puddles today, but everyone's done a great job of managing to get their vehicles from wherever they were parked to the Innovation Credit Union iPlex for the start today, and all good. Raise and level your existing concrete. Raise right, concrete leveling here. And, of course, the Always Vocal group at Victory Family Church. This is a group, you can always hear them coming from a ways away, Lindsay.
Another great musical float that is part of the annual parade. They've got the full band set up there, drums, guitar, keyboard, and, of course, vocals.
You know, that takes a lot of work, too. That's not easy to do because they got that wired all up into a generator as well. It's tough to fully wire up a moving band, but Victory Church, this isn't the first year that they've had a live music component to what they do, and they always manage to pull it off. Great to see some talented musicians participating. We see TJ's Pizza here celebrating the hats off to 80 years. They got some clowns and some inflatable pizza sticking out their window there. TJ's Pizza.
We've got another one of our mascots on the street as well. TJ's Pizza, well represented by the Fox.
The TJ's Pizza Fox. Now, I think that speaks to how fast they deliver. Quick like a fox. Maybe?
I think so.
Let's go with that. They got a little paddling pool in the back of that truck, too, for the Fox to play in if he wants to. Red Hat Adventures.
So, this is a great group of ladies who are just trying to live life to the fullest, and looks like they're doing a great job. You can recognize them when they are out and about because they're always wearing red and purple.
Hopefully they'll be in the saloon later because that's right. They certainly are a group of gals that just love to have a great time as we see trail excavating rolling through downtown here.
So we've got the Sanguine Clydesdales pulling the trail excavating, wagon. And this is an amazing and beautiful group of horses.
Yeah, Frontier Days is always known for what's on four wheels, but it's always amazing to see what's on four legs as well. And these Clydesdales, the Sanguine Clydesdales, just taking a moment, and everyone's just taking it all in here because this is a magnificent part of the parade. Just 8 fabulous Clydesdales here in downtown Swift.
And if you're a person that's interested in Clydesdales and other heavy horses, don't forget that at Frontier Days, there are heavy horse events where you can see great hardworking animals like this doing their thing.
Suddenly feel like having a Budweiser all of a sudden as we see a couple more horses making their way down Frontier Days. Always a great thing to see here. Emergency services vehicles not far away.
It's these horse and wagons that really take you back and kind of tie the whole 80 years together. At one point, we wouldn't have been seeing those Camaros and other fine vehicles we've been seeing, but it would have been more the equine that was prairie Percherons that just made their way through.
Yes, we just saw a 1953 Morris J-type van, and now some good people at Pioneer Co-op, who I imagine have been a part of Frontier Days parade. 80 years of the parade, and I imagine they've been there for most of it.
Absolutely, and also celebrating hats off to community spirit. So we got to give a shout out to them for supporting all of the great initiatives that they do here in Southwest Saskatchewan. RM of Sask Landing first responders making their way through as well in their ambulance, and following them, we're going to see Remax on display here. Remax has really upped their game and getting involved with the community, and nice to see a solid display here, Lindsay. Yeah, Remax is often well known for their hot air balloon that you'll see floating above different centers in the province and around the country for that matter. So it's great to see that inflatable replica of their hot air balloon. Looks like they are also tossing out some Frisbees to the people along the parade route.
Nobody ever leaves Frontier Days Parade empty-handed. Crazy Cowboys, instrumentation, and electrical now making their way down Central Avenue North in Swift Current. Crazy Cowboys. There is some craziness going on in the cab of that truck. It's appropriate.
Yep, and it looks like they have a really great display, a working replica pump jack as part of their parade float.
Nice to see that salute to the oil and gas industry, which is such a big part of everything that goes on here in Southwest Saskatchewan. Crazy Cowboys, instrumentation, and electrical. Shaw Electrical will be following them shortly. We once again like to take this opportunity to thank our feature sponsor, Living Sky Casino, for making this webcast of the 2018 Frontier Days Parade a possibility. A huge thanks to Living Sky. A lot of people from Swift Current, but not in Swift Current watching this. And next time you're in town, we certainly invite you down to enjoy Living Sky Casino. And a big thanks as well to Chad and the crew at WW Smith for allowing us this broadcast location as we see Shaw Electrical promoting efficiencies.
Yeah, it looks like they are embracing the future, and they are actually advertising solar electricity here. And in case you were unaware, Sask Power actually has a solar power rebate program going on right now until November 30th.
All right. You are in the know today, Lindsay Gerbrandt. Glad I have you along for the ride here. Swift Current Kiwanis Club, a big part of the community for a long time, and they're showing some of the different things that they support. SPCA, 57's baseball, Spookorama, of course, a huge part of Swift Current, something for the youth to do. And speaking of the youth of Swift Current, here comes the group from the center. Nathan Weeb, the man at the center, and the Prairie Craftsman truck, and a bunch of youth having fun here at the parade as they always do at the center.
Yeah, they're, I think, putting up a really good representation of all the fun that they have at the center. They've got a couple of couches. Again, people very much maximizing on spending time in the parade, but also doing some dancing. They even have an arcade game on their float just to show how much fun they have down at the center.
And they noticed the camera here, as most young people do, and they're certainly mugging for that. So love that arcade game. No school like the old school. Big fan of that. Here comes Sask Abilities, a big part of the community. Kimmy Duzan has just done a fabulous job since taking over the show out there. And Sask Abilities, they're promoting their upcoming Rodeo Bowl, which will be the theme of the 2019 Ability Bowl. So a cowboy theme Rodeo Bowl, that Ability Bowl this year, another huge success.
And they were the winner of runner-up for Best Volunteer Entry. So a great job from Sask Abilities on their float.
Yeah, I know that they were nominated as well for a CBEX Award for all the great work that they do around Southwest Saskatchewan and Swift Current, and they've enriched a lot of lives with their various programs. And the Sarcan program, another thing that falls under the umbrella of Sask Abilities.
Yeah, they're giving a shout out to BNA Petroleum for donating the trailer that they've built their float upon. But that is a great group of very hardworking people who take care of all of our recycling needs down at Sarcan.
And after Frontier Days weekend, they will be busy.
I think that's an understatement, Ryan.
Sarcan well represented here at the parade. And is this part of the Sarcan crew too here? They actually have some human cans making their way down the street.
Yep, they've got a few folks dressed up as Pepsi cans, which I'm sure they see plenty of from on day-to-day basis.
And Swift Transit as well, also a great partnership as well with Sask Abilities and the city of Swift Current, helping make a growing community that much smaller by allowing some transportation services from all the way from the south side of Swift Current to the north side out by the hospital there.
And Swift Transit actually does a really great job because they also have a wheelchair accessible. In fact, this is the wheelchair accessible bus that they have. So making sure that everybody can get where they're going.
Great City of Swift Current program in partnership with Sask Abilities. All right, now we got some of those big machines coming down the street. It's going to make lots of noise once they fire off that horn. The Tri-Drive Hydrovac from Canadian Hydrovac Limited. Again, great to see the oil and gas community represented here at the Frontier Days Parade because it is such a big part of what goes on here in Southwest Saskatchewan.
Yes, and they have definitely shined up those vehicles. You know that these vehicles are... They're spending a lot of time doing some very, very hard work, and these guys have taken a lot of time and a lot of care to make them parade-worthy today. Absolutely.
See another vehicle coming through from Robertson Motorsports?
Yeah, that's with Robertson Family Group. That is Doug and Diane, actually. So they are waving at everyone, making sure that everyone sees Robertson Family Group coming through because they've got a lot of equipment following in behind them.
You know, what's amazing is, someone who's, back in the day when I worked at the radio station, there was just Robertson Implements. It was a really small location on the South Service Road west of the city along Highway 1, and it's just amazing to see that empire grow. The rentals and now the motorsports and every multiple locations as well. So good to see Doug Robertson, a real success story in business in Southwest Saskatchewan, Doug and his family, and they're showing off some of the different items that they have here.
Yeah, right now we are enjoying a display from Robertson Rentals. So all of the equipment that you see here are things that you can rent if you've got to do different work, whether you're landscaping or building or anything like that. They have a lot of these items available for you.
Nice tractor and a baler rolling through here. Robertson always brings the heavy equipment to Frontier Days, and it's nice to see them do so again here. And we see the Robertson Family Group, some of the more recreational items going to be emanating from just underneath that tree on Central Avenue in just a moment. All hands on deck to see. Great to see the whole family group out here.
Absolutely. So now it looks like we've got the contingent coming through from Robertson Motorsport and Marine. That is a fine boat, and it would look fantastic in the water at the landing.
Yeah, or any lake for that matter. Looks like everyone's having fun. Yeah, kind of the younger generation of the Robertson Family Group. I heard they had some more contemporary tunes pumping on that boat there. There's Cody Robertson. He's having fun on that boat. And seeing some of the jet skis and the side-by-sides as well. So Robertson, their business is growing, and their display in the Frontier Days Parade seemingly growing every year as well.
Yep, it just it seems that it keeps going and going and going. We've got a motorbike coming up. We've got an ATV, another side-by-side on the way, and it remains to be seen what's going to come around the corner next.
Yeah, they're on about 3 blocks of parade displays right now. Goes to show how many people they employ, because I'm thinking they got to be running out of employees sooner or later for all these things that are being piloted down Central Avenue here in this parade. No, but it just keeps running going. And I know Robertson, a big part always in supporting what happens at Frontier Days at the fairgrounds as well, Lindsay.
Yes, they are a very big supporter of Frontier Days and the Swift Current Ag and X, of course, making sure that everyone has agriculture accessible to them. This is a beautiful pontoon boat that they are displaying now.
Yeah, and the folks on that pontoon boat just taking it all in, enjoying the parade route. United Taxi looks to be making their way up the street now. United Taxi, we certainly thank them for taking time out of what is likely a very, very busy weekend at Frontier Days. There's a lot of people that have places to go around Swift Current, and with so much traffic, some people just don't want to bother with the driving and everything. So United Taxi, more than busy, yet taking time to wave to the parade goers here.
Yes, and they do provide such an important service, especially when people are enjoying the saloon, providing everyone with safe rides home.
Got a John Deere Model D from 1950, Dennis Unruh. He's shined that up real nice. You can tell that there's a lot of time, effort, energy, and love going into what he's doing. And look at that smile on Dennis's face. You'd have to surgically remove that smile. He's having fun out there.
And just like we saw when the vintage cars came through, now we've got some vintage machinery making its way through the streets here in Swift Current, which will undoubtedly be bringing a few people back to the good old days today.
That's a nearly 70-year-old tractor, and it just looks fabulous out there. So great job by Dennis and his crew. There's a few people admiring that, and he wants to take the time to show that off. A few items in John Deere green as we look to have reached the agriculture machinery part of Frontier Days, which is always a popular element.
Of course, that is something that Frontier Days focuses on since it began in 1938. It's always had that agricultural tie to it, as we see continuing today. So when you spend some time at Frontier Days, don't forget to head back and check out the barns, the livestock area, the heavy horse, the light horse, and all that great agricultural stuff that's going on there. A number of kids there who are involved in 4-H around southwest Saskatchewan. They're showing their cattle. They've worked very hard, and it's definitely something to enjoy.
W.W. Smith, that is where we are bringing you this webcast from. We thank Chad Peranto and the crew there for allowing us some roof access and allowing us to wheeze some electricity off of their system as well to bring you this. We certainly say a big thanks to all the crew at W.W. Smith, community-minded business, for allowing us to bring you this webcast of the Frontier Days Parade. And our title sponsor for this is Living Sky Casino. And I imagine for Frontier Days, Living Sky Casino, another local business that has huge ties to the community in the 10 years that they've been here. And I imagine they're going all out this weekend as well, Lindsay.
Absolutely. So one of the main parts that Living Sky Casino is so proud to be a sponsor of for Frontier Days is presenting the Living Sky Casino fireworks show on Canada Day. It'll be 11 p.m. tomorrow. The fireworks will begin.
So 11 p.m. tomorrow night, Sunday night, and everybody in Swift Current has their favorite fireworks spot. People, and that's another thing, we talked about how people were camped out, making sure that they had their parade spot, like some people out as early as 7 o'clock this morning for a parade that starts at around 10. And the fireworks thing, everyone has their spot for that, and that's another thing that people always want to make sure they have a good seat for.
Yes, and you're right. I think locals especially, they all have their special spot for enjoying the fireworks. But if you're not sure where to enjoy the fireworks best, the grandstand is always a great place because you'll be able to see absolutely everything, even some of the fireworks that maybe take place a little closer to the ground.
Now, Army Paintball. These guys go all out and love what they do. The crew at Army Paintball, they have their setup just out at the Wymark area, just off Highway number 4. It's always a treat to see them. They're always looking like they're ready to invade somewhere. There's a giant sniper rifle we see running down the street. They got the Army-style vehicle. These are just some people. Army Paintball, it mustn't feel like work for them when they're on the job, just having fun and facilitating people having fun.
Yes, and it's important to note that they are inviting people to come and play with us. That's what the sign says. But if you are looking for bookings, they've got the number there that they're recommending that you can enjoy their services for things like birthday parties, stags and stagettes, or team building activities. That
would be a morale builder, going and shooting the people in the office that you don't like. I would highly recommend that for some sort of team building exercise. 5 Point Electric also getting represented here, and just look at this setup. This is great. Like Army Paintball, at what point do we start calling them a militia? Like every year their operation is growing, and I can't imagine that these items are totally functional, but wow, this is quite the display that they have here. It's camouflage, but everyone's certainly taking note and seeing what they have here on Central Avenue.
Yes, and they do have a setup on North Railway Street if you are interested. Often they do have one or more of these vehicles parked in that area.
A&M Delivery, that's part of the empire there that they have. Now we see the Redneck Betties, part of the Southwest Saskatchewan Roller Derby Association, making their way through, and another group of people from Golden West Radio, a big part in the parade and the communities. Children scattering for some freezies, as that's what the roller derby girls are throwing out on a hot day. Great to see the Betties part of things here at Frontier Days.
Yeah, and another group that's maximizing their parade time. They've got their skates on today. They're roller skating their way through the Frontier Days parade route.
That'll be a bit of a challenge when they have to go over that 2nd Avenue overpass, but those girls on the Betties, they practice hard, they play hard, and I'm sure that they are up for that. I believe this is a classic car from Harvey Clausen making its way through here. Nice white Chrysler. Got the family in there. And Rock Solid Trucking with Canada Day tomorrow. Our great nation is adequately represented here, and of course Rock Solid Trucking with some of their big units heading down Central Avenue as well. Just a gorgeous day for a parade. Couldn't have asked for a better day. The temperature, just right. We've had days of sweltering heat for the Frontier Days parade, but you really couldn't have ordered a better day for one of the final days of Frontier Days, Lindsay.
No, not at all. And if you have not headed out to the Frontier Days grounds yet, you've still got time. Today, like Ryan said, it appears that today is going to be the perfect day to enjoy Frontier Days. And then, of course, we have tomorrow as well.
Rock Solid Trucking well represented here, and we're glad that they're a part of what's happening here at Frontier Days. Showing off what they do. I know not too far off there's going to be a special guest in the Frontier Days parade this year. The Swift Current Broncos are going to be making their way through. And I've heard that Ed is going to be joining them. And you may be asking, what's Ed? The Ed Chenoweth Cup, the Western Hockey League Championship. A lot of people are looking forward to seeing that. It's not every day that that trophy passes through Swift Current, the smallest market in the CHL. And the Broncos capturing that league championship this past May, as we see folks from Knight Dodge. Knight Dodge, one of the newer automobile dealers in Swift Current. And good to see them represented.
Yeah, Nissan coming through with the group as well. Some very nice looking vehicles. And now we've got the best volunteer entry coming up.
And it looks like it's going to be the Swift Current Skating Club who takes that this year. That's excellent. And just a great looking display. Hats off to community spirit, the Swift Current Skating Club. Best volunteer entry. The crew there, they got their 57s hat on, some of their Bronco colors, and the Swift Current Skating Club always working hard at the local rinks, and it's great to see them here. And now a display that a lot of people have been waiting for. Here come the 2018 Western Hockey League champions, the Swift Current Broncos. A guy on the team who's pretty much a local player, Tanner Nagel. He played his minor hockey here. There he is with Ed, the Ed Chenoweth Cup.
And, of course, a favorite of the kids along the parade route, none other than Charlie Horse.
Oh, yeah, there's Charlie. Can we get a shot of Charlie, Christina? He's here. Charlie looks like he's holding up well throughout the parade route. Now, there's the Ed Chenoweth Cup on top of the Bronco truck, and there's Nolan Parody, a key member of the Swift Current Bronco hockey operation, sitting on the back of that truck. Nolan was a big addition to the Bronco team in October, and it's great to see him here in Frontier Days celebrating that big win. Swift Current Stock Car Association now. There's 88. One of the cars that we can see out at the Living Sky Casino Speedway.
Absolutely. And coming up in July, they are hosting a demolition derby. So that doesn't happen every day. Just once this year, so make sure that you mark the calendar and get out to see that.
There it is, Demolition Derby, July 21st at the fairgrounds at the Living Sky Casino Speedway. That would be all kinds of carnage and a great thing to take in. And as you mentioned, something you don't see every day. So kudos to them. I know that they have the Living Sky Casino Speedway out there, and you know the folks that use that facility always finding new and exciting events and different vehicles to bring to town, different attractions, and we salute them for the great job that they do. Downtown Market Square is happening as the parade goes on. I know at 11:30 this morning, the very popular Sundrops are going to be performing. They always draw a massive crowd at Market Square, so they're expected to perform not long after the Frontier Days parade is over, so that will attract a big crowd downtown, seeing the Sundrops performing at Market Square. And then, of course, Frontier Days happening at the fairgrounds all throughout the day today. Here's more from the Swift Current Stock Car Club. Demolition Derby.
So our sponsor today, Living Sky Casino, is also very proud to sponsor the upcoming Demolition Derby. So take note, July 21st, you can enjoy the Demo Derby out at Kinetic Exhibition Park.
And they just do a great job. You know, if you've never been to one of the races out there at Kinetic Exhibition Park, it's a real fan-friendly atmosphere. The kids love it. They always got some good food out there. Herbert Grazer's 4-H Beef Club, the junior and 4-H second prize represented here. The community of Herbert. Their motto is, "Have you seen Herbert?" And we enjoy seeing them here today.
Definitely. And again, we go back to Frontier Days and what Frontier Days is really all about. And it's keeping that egg component alive. So great to see another 4-H club here.
Roto-Rooter sewer and drain service here. They got a couple of their units here. They got their trailer, a couple of trucks. Roto-Rooter always doing a great job. Always quick on the call whenever you need their services. And happy to see them at Frontier Days today. Unforgettable now, letting their community spirit shine.
Yes, they've got some great tunes. It looks like they are their display is being pulled by a truck from Surround Sound Music, giving you a good look if you are planning a wedding. Perhaps it's grad season right now. Any of that formal wear, they've got what you need.
A great showing as well at Grad this year by Unforgettable. I know a lot of the local graduates there were there, and we were happy to stream the live march for that, or the Grand March as well.
And they did win second place in the commercial division.
Excellent job there by them. Imagine Early Learning Center. Some of the kids having some fun here, an enthusiastic bunch. Imagine Early Learning Center. Some of the kids, many of which enjoying their first Frontier Days parade experience. And as a kid, it's cool to watch it, but it's cool to be in the parade too.
Yeah, it's kind of a prestigious thing if you can tell all your little friends that, oh, we didn't go to the parade, we were in the parade. It's a whole nother level.
Absolutely. Citywide Cabs again, another group that's going to be busy and showcasing some of the vehicles that one could ride in.
Eliminators Car Club doing a raffle for an engine, and it looks like they're also promoting their 38th annual Show and Shine coming up Saturday, August 18th at Riverside Park.
Yeah, we just saw them roll through moments ago. Here comes the first prize in our commercial exhibit here, and it is the Swift Current Research and Development Center. So, first prize, saluting community spirit, at the Research and Development Center from Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. So congratulations to them on what looks like a fabulous display here.
Yes, and they are displaying all the hats that they have. Hats off to community spirit, of course, the theme of this year's Frontier Days parade, as Frontier Days celebrates 80 years.
Nice cow costume. If it's not one thing, it's the other. So Swift Current Research and Development winning there. The Swift Current Fencing Club. They've been active in the community for quite a while. A lot of people enjoying the great sport of fencing. I know local athletes have participated on the national stage before. That's a tough sport to learn, and nice to see them here this afternoon. Swift Current Fencing Club. And some of their fencing gear here. The Cough Stop Vape Shop represented as well. They're set up in the professional building in Swift Current, taking the day off to show everyone what they're all about here. Cough Stop Vape Shop. Nice windmill there. A little bit of history. They're a newer business. There's a new demand for their business, but a little bit of history with that windmill on their display. The Swift Current Cough Stop. We're starting to see some John Deere green out in front of what should be a big display from Pattison Agriculture. They just moved into that new facility on the North Service Road west of the city along Highway number 1, formerly JD Ag Tech. Pattison Agriculture, they've really upped their community service game as of late and showcasing some of their Bobcat wares here at the Frontier Days Parade. And this isn't going to be all we see from Pattison, as it looks like they're going to have a lot here.
Yes, and this particular tractor they have coming through is always a fan favorite because it's always a little bit of a treat to see the tractor that has the tracks as opposed to the tires.
Yeah, and some farmers really prefer that. They swear by that, the tracks more so than the tires. I've never seeded a field, so I don't know of the professional advantages, but darn does it look cool.
Yes, it kind of has that tough guy vibe.
Yeah, it looks like you're driving a tank down the street and in the field. So Pattison Agriculture. Nice display from them, bringing out some heavy machinery. Sangel Energy Services, again, the oil and gas and the energy sector, a big part of what happens in the 306 and what drives the economic engine. And you always hear about oil and gas, but you don't often see it in play per se, as they often work off the beaten path. But some fine machinery from Sangel here today, Lindsay.
Yes, I'm just so amazed at. Oh wow, there goes the horn. So amazed that they've shined up these vehicles so nicely because they do such hard work out in the field.
Yeah, those vehicles aren't very clean very often. So The fact that they've gone through all the trouble of cleaning them up for Frontier Days is big. Chinook School Division, they're showcasing a little bit of their history here as well. They have one of the older school buses. I don't believe this one is still in service. It's likely been decommissioned, but they're tipping their cap to their bus drivers. Chinook School Division here. The hardworking bus drivers, a big part of what they do. So they have the old school bus, but then they're highlighting transporting the future. And the importance of the school bus driver is often understated, because when it comes to the school day, this is often the first connection that kids have with the school division, and then the last at the end of the day too.
Yeah, and again, they're showing their hats off to community spirit.
Hats off to community spirit. Lots of folks incorporating that. And I do believe bringing up the rear this year for Frontier Days Parade, the 93rd group that we've seen, the RM of Swift Current Fire Department, and a couple of their fire trucks, and Swift Current Emergency Services as well. Swift Current EMS. Natalie LeBlanc recently getting a Provincial Service Award, part of Swift Current EMS. As we see the RM Fire and Swift Current EMS, and our chance to say thank you for taking care of us to a couple of key groups in Swift Current area.
Yes, and the kids always love hearing the sirens, seeing the flashing lights, and got to admit, it's much nicer to see it as part of the parade than when they're in action.
Oh, well, I thought the parade might be done with Swift Current Fire, and this is part of their display as well, as they've got some more happening here. Or Swift Current EMS, this looks like. I'm not sure who that mascot is, but he's making some friends today. We see some of the older tools of the trade. There's the new Swift Current Fire Chief, Darren McClelland, and his family. And there's Pete LaRue, a longtime proponent of fire safety in Swift Current, driving one of the old SCFD vehicles. Pete and his much better half, Jen, heading down Central Avenue. More members of SCFD celebrating the old with the new. And this is a group, they always show well at firefighter competitions. They always have state-of-the-art equipment. They're always great proponents of fire safety. And, another group that just does a great job of looking after the people it serves. And cutting you off with loud sirens. Ladder truck number 2 here from SCFD.
It's like they know that I'm about to speak. Yes, it's so great to see our City of Swift Current Fire group here, because they do so much for the community beyond just keeping us safe.
Take this opportunity to acknowledge the efforts of outgoing Swift Current Fire Chief Denny Pilon, who served Swift Current well in his time here. Just retiring a few short weeks ago. And Darren McClelland, we saw him in the parade. He's been a longtime member of Swift Current Fire since the late 90s, I believe. And he's moved into the big office at the Swift Current Fire Hall as engine number 2 makes its way down the street. Some big grass fires this year that SCFD was deployed to assist. And, of course, a big part of what they do is prevention as well, as I think Swift Current, dare I say, better than most cities at getting good messages of prevention out there as well.
Yes, we see tanker number 2 driving by here and engine 3 on the way. They're probably feeling a tad more relaxed today after yesterday's rain, much needed rain in the southwest.
Yes, absolutely. It rained for people not in the Swift Current area. We got a few millimeters last night, which was certainly much needed, making everything a little bit greener. And with that, that'll do it for the Frontier Days Parade 2018. Utility 1 makes its way through. The hats off theme well represented. And Lindsay, we just saw some great representation of our community here today.
Absolutely, and it's always so heartwarming to see all the different local businesses, service groups, volunteer clubs, and everyone just coming out and coming together to put on the parade. as well as everybody coming out and coming together to enjoy the parade.
Well, Lindsay Gerbrandt, I know we did this a few years ago from the roof at the radio station back when it was located along the Parade Road on Central Avenue North. It was fun to do the live stream thing today. Let's book the date for next year, all right?
I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'm already looking forward to it.
Hey, a huge thanks to everyone for joining us via the live stream, wherever you may be. It's great that we were able to bring this to you today. A big thanks to W.W. Smith and Chad Paranto, who made it possible for us to webcast from the roof today of W.W. Smith, and of course, our title sponsor of this webcast, Living Sky Casino. Drop by and see what they're up to for Frontier Days. On behalf of Lindsay Gerbrandt providing parade commentary, Christina Schweitzer working the camera, it's Ryan Schweitzer saying good day from downtown Swift Current.